go to Iowa Cup Series for the first time this week, Zach. It's a 7/8 mile track. I'd say it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's not. It's close to Des Moines, and Des Moines has a casino. Not that that really matters to the race fan. Oh, sure, it matters to race fans.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, Ryan Preece has won there before. I think Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s won a couple times there before. So we have some guys who are familiar in the Cup Series. But, you know, when you go to a track for the first time, whether it's the dirt track or at Bristol or the Coliseum or Gateway, Joey Logano wins. So if you're putting money on this one, I think I'd put it on Joey Logano.
I mean, why not? Just said it right before the break, too. I mean, the 22 team always finds a way. Paul Wolf can set up a car like nothing. It's amazing what that team has been able to pull off when we go to these places for the first time. I don't know what it is. All of those examples are completely different styles of racetracks. One's dirt, one's inside a Coliseum that, it's a quarter-mile track inside a football field. But yet they find a way. It's a lot less daunting of a challenge this time around, but Logano is one of the few Cup guys, actually, that hasn't made laps at Iowa in competition. So I'm curious what they do this time around. I am curious if the guys who have run there previously, whether it's in the Xfinity Series, the Truck Series, or in the ARCA Series, if that plays any sort of advantage to them. Obviously, we know there was a recent tire test as well with Kyle Larson out there. I believe Bell was out there for Toyota, and Brad Keselowski was out there for Ford. We've got the repave where there's lanes of the track that have been repaved ahead of our race. So I'm curious how that all factors into what we see on Sunday night. But it's going to be really hard to count that 22 out of the mix, isn't it?
Oh, I would think so. You mentioned the guys who were out there for the tire test, and Davey, it was interesting. I heard Joey Logano talking about that a couple weeks ago after North Wilkesboro because he was involved in the tire test for North Wilkesboro. He said, look, he says, you can make an awful lot out of that as a fan, but you're not even sure that what you're testing is what they're going to come back with because you're trying so many different things. I don't know that it's the advantage that people may think it is, other than the fact that you're getting some laps and maybe, especially on a repave, finding some lines because they're going to have practice out there.
Right, and they got an extended practice too, like they had this weekend on a repave, which, oh, by the way, Joey Logano won the pole for on a new track surface. Shocking, I know. But to your point, Brett, I mean, track time is valuable, lap time is valuable still. I mean, even though there's a lot of data points on this new car, it's still valuable to get additional track time from that perspective on a track that nobody's been in Cup competition. So on one hand, that's a good thing. On the other hand, though, I mean, we've heard from countless drivers, whether it's tire testing, wheel force testing, running on the sim, etc. It is just so different running with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars around you and 35 cars around you. It's just way different. The track temperature changes, the grip level changes, the vibe changes. It's different when you're running a qualifying lap on a Goodyear tire test, and then it's different when you got Ross Chastain 2 inches away from you and you're Kyle Busch and you got Chastain last week. You can't compare the two. And I think another thing to look for this weekend too is the repave, or maybe the half repave of sorts. People are kind of calling it like a Frankenstein style repave because they did parts of corners, but not all of them, and then not the entire track. So it's an interesting, dichotomy that we have of some people have prior experience in different vehicles. Some people have that experience on a totally different surface. And then some people have that experience on this new refined surface in this current vehicle without other cars around them. So that all makes for an interesting ingredients and interesting recipe. And I think that we have absolutely no idea what is going to happen, which makes it a very entertaining day for guys like us.
It is a track. Rusty Wallace designed this track, Zach, and it's a track that has shown in the IndyCar series and in the Xfinity series can be a very racy track. Like I said, it's unique in the standpoint the length is 7/8 of a mile. There's nothing else like that. And I think we got an opportunity for a great show, especially from what we've seen for this, the change they made to this Gen 7 car.
I would agree. And I also think it's great anytime you can go into a racetrack that has drivers excited to go. It's an oval. It's been sitting there since, I think, 07, 06, somewhere around that time. So for the Cup Series to finally make its way out there is a super exciting moment for the sport. You've got guys like Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe have talked about this place being one of their favorite races on the schedule. The fact that we get to go there now is fun. I think Sunday night's going to be a really good show, honestly. Now, I am curious, how does the repave factor into all of this? The closest thing on our schedule to compare it to is probably a Richmond. Are the guys who are good at Richmond going to be as good at Iowa? That would factor guys like Martin Truex Jr. into the mix, Denny Hamlin into the mix, Kyle Larson, kind of your usual contenders, right? But who's going to surprise us? I was looking through the stats, kind of getting ready for this weekend. Michael McDowell has a 6.9 average finish in Xfinity at Iowa with
nice.
Yeah. Very nice. And it was very surprising to me that 6 of those 8 starts came with Joe Gibbs Racing. He got a runner-up finish there back in 2014, I believe it was. So are there guys in the field that will surprise us this weekend? I'm excited to see it in person. I'm getting out there for the first time this weekend. It's going to be a blast, and I think we'll be all rewarded for it come Sunday night.
It's going to be fun, Dave, because, I mean, excitement in the garage, and it was a quick sellout as far as fans go, so the atmosphere should be fantastic.
For sure. Sold out Xfinity race, sold out Cup race. Fellas, the ARCA race is trending for a sellout. Can I get a hallelujah for the ARCA boys and girls? My
hallelujah.
Goodness. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I mean, that shows you, though, right? I mean, this market has been hungry for Cup Series racing. This market is deserving of Cup Series racing. When the IndyCar Series has gone there the past couple years with help from their sponsors and Hy-Vee, they have brought really, really, really big crowds to the racetrack and awesome entertainment as well. I think you're going to see some good racing over the weekend. You're going to see the vibes unparalleled, man. Sold out grandstands and just the vibe of going to a new place for the first time. We saw it at North Wilkesboro. We saw it at Chicago. We saw it at the Clash. You're seeing it at Iowa this weekend. This is what NASCAR needs to continue doing. And I think they will, and have. You know, whether it's Mexico City, Montreal next year, we're hearing rumblings about Rockingham. I know that's not a new place, and neither was Wilkesboro, but you guys catch my drift, right? Doing things that are new, different, innovative, and that give fans reasons to go and check something new out, and gives the drivers a little bit of pep in their step in what's a really long, monotonous schedule at times. It's a win for everybody. So I'm really a big fan of this weekend.